The world is changing. Old powers are fading. A new world order is emerging. This shift has profound implications for Africa. The continent stands at a crossroads. It can be a pawn in a new global game, or it can be a master of its own destiny. For centuries, Africa has been shaped by external forces. Colonialism exploited its resources and people. Neo-colonialism continued this exploitation in subtler ways, but the old order is crumbling. The powers that once dictated Africa's fate are facing their own crises. This creates both challenges and opportunities. Africa can be pulled into the vortex of great power competition, or it can seize the moment. It can forge a new path based on cooperation and mutual benefit. The choices made today will determine Africa's future for generations to come. The decline of the old order is evident in the struggles of major powers. China faces economic headwinds and questions about its military might. The United States, under a hypothetical second Trump term, could see its global leadership further diminished. Russia, despite its military activities, is grappling with economic sanctions and internal challenges. These dynamics have created a more uncertain and volatile global landscape. The decline of old empires is particularly evident in Africa. France, once a dominant force in its former colonies, has seen its influence wane dramatically. The era of Francafrique, where France exerted significant political, economic, and military control, is over. Coup in former French colonies, the expulsion of French troops, and the rise of actors like Russia's Wagner Group highlight this shift. France's retreat from its former colonies reflects a broader trend of declining European influence in Africa. This decline has created a vacuum that other powers are eager to fill. Russia, despite its challenges in Ukraine and elsewhere, sees Africa as an opportunity to expand its influence. The Wagner Group, a private military company with close ties to the Russian state, has been active in several African countries. It provides security services, trains local forces, and engages in resource extraction. However, Russia's engagement in Africa is not without its critics. Some argue that it is simply a new form of colonialism, exploiting African resources for its own benefit. Others worry about the human rights implications of the Wagner Group's activities. China's presence in Africa is another significant development. For years, China has been investing heavily in infrastructure, energy, and other sectors across the continent. This engagement has been driven by China's growing need for resources and markets. It has also been part of its strategy to challenge the existing global order. However, China's economic slowdown is raising questions about its ability to sustain this level of investment. If China's economy continues to slow, it could have significant implications for African countries that have come to rely on Chinese investment. Amidst these shifting sands, South Africa is emerging as a leading voice for the global South. It is leveraging its position in the BRICS Group, the African Union, and other platforms to advocate for a more just and equitable world order. South Africa's willingness to challenge the status quo is evident in its recent legal action against Israel at the International Court of Justice. However, South Africa also faces internal challenges including political instability and economic inequality. These challenges could hinder its ability to play a leading role on the global stage. The new world order will be defined by multipolarity, with power distributed more evenly among different countries and regions. This presents both opportunities and challenges. On the one hand, a more multipolar world could lead to greater competition and conflict as powers vie for influence. On the other hand, it could also create opportunities for cooperation on global challenges that require collective action. Climate change is a prime example. No country can tackle this challenge alone. It requires global cooperation on an unprecedented scale. Similarly, issues like pandemics, terrorism, and cybercrime transcend national borders. They demand coordinated international responses. In this context, the concept of disordered cooperation is gaining traction. This refers to a model of international relations where even rival nations find ways to collaborate on shared challenges, despite their differences and distrust. While this may seem counterintuitive, there is growing evidence of such cooperation taking place. The future of Africa will depend on how it navigates this complex and rapidly changing global landscape. By embracing cooperation, strengthening regional integration, and investing in its people, Africa can position itself to thrive in a multipolar world. The path ahead will not be easy, but the potential rewards are immense.